Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, your host. You are watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. And yes, for those that are asking, LD is on a mission, so he is not here today with me. But he'll soon be back, and you guys can all have all that fun with him. Today, I do have for our first show of the year a great, phenomenal person, a great soul, magical in his own way. Rupert, how are you?
Hello and Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. So, tell our audience about you.
Well, I am a space scientist, a spiritual advisor, and an alien contact specialist. So I have spent my entire life trying to work out what is real, what isn't,
Mhm.
and in order to do that, I've looked at uh, scientific realities, but I've also been examining paranormal, extranormal, supernatural, uh, alien realities also. And I've been able to work out quite a lot about what is real and what isn't, using both science and applying logic to my paranormal experiences also. So I tour around the US giving presentations, um, hosting alien contact events, and trying to spread a little bit of, hopefully, wisdom and light and love into the world.
Very good. Now, the same question everybody asks: how long have you had this passion?
I've had this passion my whole life. It really has it started because I'm a very empathic person. I feel the emotions of others, I feel the pain of others, I feel the happiness of others, and clearly happiness is good. Clearly pain is bad, and so from a very young age, when I would look out into the world, when I would watch the news and see just how appalling amounts of pain are out there,
Mhm.
I wanted to help fix that. And so if you're going to fix a problem, well, the first step is to understand the problem. And understanding reality is therefore how I got into this. And, if things like God and ghosts and the afterlife and aliens are real, well, I ought to know about that because maybe they can help. And
Mhm.
if they're not real, then I don't want to be wasting my time on things that aren't real. So that's really how I got into this. From a very young age, I've been exploring and experimenting and researching all paranormal phenomena.
Very good. Very good. So, it isn't just a fad because, there's a lot of people that out of the
Yeah,
blue, just like get in that train. And so I agree with you that there has been a lot of pain, and I'm glad that you're searching and have been searching and continue, because it's ever lasting learning path of what's true and what's not. Now, how did you start this ET contact or galactic contact?
well, when I was very young, well, in my teens,
Mhm.
I heard, I can't remember where I heard it, where I saw it, but there was this theory out there that on in England, bonfire night, uh, Guy Fawkes night, that's when we have all the fireworks.
Right.
I heard that that's the night when aliens can move around freely in the sky, UFOs can fly around, because if somebody sees one and says, "Hey, it's a UFO," people will say, "Ah, it's just a firework."
Mhm.
So I organized, when I was just a teenager, a gathering of friends up on top of White Horse Hill in England.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I organized a gathering to go up there and reach out to them and try and connect with them. So I've been doing it since then.
Mm.
Um, but it has been it was probably 4 or 5 years ago when I started to have real tangible experiences with them. And I saw in the
Mhm.
sky, I started to see, um, well, we could call them UFOs or UAPs if they're unidentified, but
Right.
I started to see what I describe as PAPs,
Mm.
probable alien phenomena.
Right.
Because I'm a space scientist and I know what a satellite looks like and I know
Mhm.
what a meteorite looks like, and I used to fly a little bit, and so I know what planes look like, and no, these are alien. So I started to see those, and I started to host more and more events, and in time, people started to see psychic people around me, started to see beings on the ground around us,
Mhm.
and now it is almost a daily occurrence that, people in my meetings perceive beings around me. Just last night, I was in a meeting and somebody saw one of the beings touching my forehead, and that's what they do. They're enhancing, adjusting my
Mhm.
spiritual body, and now I have lots of alien friends.
Good. The best ones to have, man. They're so advanced that they could take care of anything we need without even us knowing what we need. So why not? Um, now, you said you're a scientist and all that. So tell us about that.
Well, I have a first class honors degree in physics with space science and technology. Um, So that was designing spacecraft, designing space missions, and after that, I went into research in X-ray Astrophysics. So I
Mhm.
was working in the Leicester Space Centre and the Leicester University of Leicester in England, using space-based telescopes, X-ray telescopes, to examine stuff out there in space. And that was all very interesting for a while, but it became so focused, so concentrated into just a small area of science, a small area of reality. I started to lose interest, and I was much more interested in the paranormal picture.
Mhm.
And so then I really started to research that more fully, try and figure out, what are ghosts? What happens after you die? Do we have any psychic abilities? Can we remote view? Can we astrally project? Is manifestation a thing? I started to really research all of those things, and now I have a pretty good grasp on those things, and I host workshops in them, and yeah.
Good, good. Now, I know you have at least one group, like say in Facebook. Um, how can people contact you there? Is it just a group for uh, galactics, or is it a group for everything paranormal, galactic?
Yeah. I have a Facebook group that is
Mhm.
called Galactic Wisdom,
Okay,
and you should be able to search that, Galactic Wisdom. If you
right.
can't find it, just facebook.com/groups/Galactic Wisdom, and, in that group, it's just a
Mhm,
small community, but I'm slowly growing it.
mhm,
This is the place where I have my inner circle. This is
mhm,
where, we are, me and other human beings and my galactic friends, we are building uh, an alliance of
mm.
beings of light, light
Good,
and love. And if you're interested in connecting with me in any way, just find me in that group.
very good. Um, yes, well, I am kind of forming something the same way, but I do it more as a channeling. So
Mm.
we have a group where we channel councils of light, whatever. They call themselves Council of Nine, the 12, the 13th. I don't, it's just councils in general.
Yeah.
So it is nice to hear that somebody else is starting or is doing another group. So everybody, at one point, I'm hoping everybody could get together and discuss all the experiences. And
Yeah.
because just like we're individuals, we each have even the same experience, we see different realities in it. So, um, now you are a spiritual advisor, and um, how did you get into that?
Um, if you're going to go out there and impact the world,
Mhm.
that's a big responsibility. How do you figure out the right way of doing that and the wrong way? um, and with science, with space science, that's all logical. It follows universal laws which you can figure out and prove.
Mhm.
Um, Morality is different. It's not objective in that way. It's more subjective. And so I've spent my entire life trying to figure out not just um, truths about reality, but also truths about morality.
Mhm.
And um, so this is something that I've been passionate about my whole life. I wrote a book, a novel, which is called Realities, and in that book, it is it is a science fiction quest to try and save the galaxy, but under what set of moral principles are we doing this?
Right.
And so I find myself in a similar situation. Lots of people are listening to me. What am I supposed to say? So I try very hard to have a very high moral and high spiritual approach to all of this. Um, there is a word that I use that I think is very important, and that is wisdom. The reason why humanity as a whole does not have an open, active relationship with these alien beings
Mhm.
um, is is not because not enough people believe in them, not because not enough people are meditating, not because the industrial military complex are preventing us from having that contact. Those beings are powerful and technologically advanced and spiritually advanced. And if they
Mhm.
wanted to, they could let themselves be known. They're
Right.
not, in general, interested in having uh, humans enter into their interstellar communities right now because they perceive within us to put it kindly, a lack of wisdom. We would go
Mhm.
into their communities and we would bring into their communities hatred, disrespectfulness,
Mhm.
exploitation. We would be trying to push our beliefs onto them. It
Mhm.
would be a disaster. So what I do is rather than going out there and saying, "Hey, alien beings, come down to us, come and save us, come and give us what you have," I try and elevate people in their wisdom up to higher levels, bridging the gap between us and them, so that we, as individuals and also my group, can connect far more easily with them. I do that elevating by raising people's wisdom,
Mhm.
which includes giving people spiritual experiences, spiritual fortitude, understanding, but
Mhm.
also helping to enlighten people about important issues on this planet. We are very disconnected as individuals in our societies from um, the impact that we're causing in this world. The
Mhm.
things we buy, we don't know where they came from, what the carbon footprint is, what the pollution involved is, what the devastation and destruction is. In general, we're causing. And now we have
Mhm.
social media and we can say anything, and our words and even our thoughts have impacts on uh, our world around us, and people
Right.
don't get that. So I'm helping to enlighten people, to give people knowledge. I'm helping people. This might sound a bit silly, but I'm helping people to think. Uh, People are really quite bad I apologize if I'm offending anybody out there, but at figuring out what is true and real and what isn't. And we can see a history of that, you know, is the earth flat?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
for example, where do we all come from? People, I'm helping people to learn thinking skills so that they can determine what is true and what is real, and leave behind harmful beliefs, destructive beliefs. And I'm helping people to intellectualize morality. You know, we can't
Mhm.
expect a fox or a squirrel to really be entirely moral because they don't have the thought, you know, the mental, intellectual capability of really figuring out what is right and what is wrong
Mhm.
in a way that they can transcend who they are.
Right.
We can. We're just at that level where if I ask a few key questions to people, people can go, "Oh, I can see that,"
Mhm.
and people can choose uh, uh, to adopt moral principles or strategies. So that's probably a very long answer to your question, but
It's perfect
that
answer.
is that's all what I do within the realm of being a spiritual advisor, helping people to become enlightened
Mhm.
and to ascend, have a more harmonious relationship with themselves,
Mm.
with others around them, with spirits in the spirit realm, with alien beings that are out there, with the earth, and with the universe.
Very good. Very good. Yes, and it is true. We do forget to think. So, now you were born in England and
Yes.
raised in England, and then you moved over here. What made you move to the US?
The bad weather in England and the good weather in California.
Yeah, there you go. Simple answer.
That's pretty much it. But, you know, my whole life, I've been, there are things going on in America which were inspiring to me, and it
Mhm.
might sound strange, you know, for Americans to hear an English perspective, but, you know, Elvis Presley, the
Mhm.
Waltons,
Mhm.
uh, Star Trek, you
Right.
know, Hollywood. I'm a writer, and you know, I came out to Hollywood, and I was writing some scripts and um, some, you know, treatments for movies and things.
Mhm.
I tried that. Didn't get very far, but
You tried it, right? And that's the
Uh-huh,
important thing.
uh-huh.
So, um, so you say you wrote a book, and where can people find that book? I
Yeah.
almost went too far out, but where do people find that book?
If you go onto Amazon
Mhm.
and you search in the book department for Realities, Rupert,
Mhm.
you should find that it pops up.
Okay.
It's got a lovely, blue cover, beautiful piece of artwork, painted by my friend Laura Zoller, and, yeah, it's a um science fiction book. You know, I started to write a textbook to the supernatural. That's how it started, and it was like a science book, and it was just seemed too formal, and I got bored writing it, and I thought, "I'm just gonna make it into a science fiction, uh, like, story." So that's its those are its origins. Yeah.
Good. Good.
But if
And
if
I
if anybody can't find it, just send me a message on Facebook. I'll be happy to send you a link.
There you go. I will be putting all the links in the description, so anybody who wants to find you can. Um, so now you started the group to
Galactic wisdom, yeah.
yeah, and what inspired you to do that?
Um, we're kind of running out of time in this chapter
Mhm.
of human history.
Yes.
Now, I'm not suggesting that humans are not gonna make it. I know that in some form there are going to be people surviving into the future and thriving.
Mhm.
But you know, if you look at the reality of where we are right now, and I'm talking both with spiritual, with psychic knowledge, but also with a lot of scientific knowledge here.
Mhm.
200 or 300 years ago, when we got into the Industrial Revolution, and our population went up like this,
Mhm.
um, we have now reached unnatural levels of population density for the human species on this planet, especially given the destructive way that we are uh, uh, acting with respect to this planet's resources.
Right.
If you look at a few facts and figures, like only 4% of the mammals on the planet are now living in the wild.
Mhm.
Um, you know, a third of the mammals on the planet are humans. About 60% of the mammals living on the planet are the mammals that we raise and eat for food,
Mhm.
cows and pigs and things like that. 70% of the mass of birds on the planet are chickens and ducks and the animals we consume. And all of those animals require huge amounts of land to grow plants to feed them.
Mhm.
And we're devastating the wilderness. We've almost wiped it out in order uh, to sustain the lifestyles that we have. We're also, you know, digging up and pumping up all of the fossil fuels, which
Mhm.
photosynthetic organisms have taken billions of years to take all of the carbon dioxide out of the air, which, you know, when the Earth first started, it was a carbon dioxide atmosphere.
Mhm.
And within just decades, we are releasing all of that carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, creating uh, global warming,
Mhm.
climate change, which, you know, when you put all of these things together, um, the result of that, and also you can remote view into the future so we can see what is happening. And also we have our alien friends giving us messages. Hey, everything you're doing here, this is not very sensible. You've got to be careful. And nuclear weapons.
Ah,
The
yes.
result of all of this is this population increase. What we're going to have next is a population crash.
Right.
And we're just at the start of that. Like,
Mhm.
people that are watching this show, you're going to experience catastrophic uh, things going on the planet. I mean, we've started to
Respect.
see a lot of destabilization on the planet.
Mhm.
So I realized, well, it wasn't a realization. I've known this my whole life, but it became uh, so urgent for me to really not mess around anymore, to just, we've got to tell people. People can
Mhm.
object to what I'm saying if you want to. You can fall back on incorrect beliefs if you want to, but I'm a scientist. I know what's happening. This is provable, absolutely logically. And our alien friends are telling us, you got to stop doing these things. And we have beings in the future who are communicating with us from that future, telling us, showing us what the future is. I just decided I need to do whatever I can do now to um, to make the problem less severe if I can, to help um, humanity, any humans that are interested in getting through that in a
Mhm.
good way, in a safe, secure way. I want to help them through. But the bigger picture is what happens on the other side of that. It's almost like what happens on the other side of the flood, you
Right.
know? It's almost like we need to set up arcs. And but then what happens on the other side? Because we've only had the tiniest brief blink of an eye of human history compared to what is to come. And our alien friends are not interested in trying to intervene with all of human uh, lacks of wisdom right now. They're not going to come in and get in the way and cause even more conflict and get shot at, but they are interested in helping wise people, good people, enlightened people, spiritual people in building something bigger that right now that is going to be able to lead to humanity's proper evolution and ascension on the other side.
Very true. I agree. I agree. And each and every day, if we pay attention, we see the signs right there.
Absolutely.
And, it's a telltale. And we're just, some of us are like this.
Yes. Yeah.
And those are the ones that need to kind of open their fingers a little and look through at least.
Yes. And
So,
the sad thing is there's a lot of very good, very kind people who are contributing to the harm without really getting it, without really understanding it.
mhm,
And there's a lot of good people that just they would welcome, they don't need to be forced, they would welcome a little bit of guidance, and that's probably why a lot of people are here watching you.
mhm,
Um, and if people would just, be open to learning a little bit,
right,
as you say, opening their eyes a little
right.
bit,
Yeah.
then they will naturally they don't need to be forced, they will naturally move in the right direction.
Mhm. Yes, it's inside. It just needs the spark.
Yeah.
Uh, and we have our galactic friends all over. I mean, I I've been blessed that I've seen them in places that I look up. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, because even in cloudy days, regular airplanes are not round with lights all around. And you look up and you're like, oh, hi. And then
Do you
all of a sudden you see something because I'm psychic and medium and all that. So I see the beings and I'm like, okay, you're a new one. What are you going to tell me that the other ones haven't? And it's very interesting once I allowed all that to happen. Because at first I was like, uh, another type of being, not just ghosts. Now I'm seeing this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, okay, just let it happen. I'm here for this. I am here to create the proper platform so people can hopefully awaken and see what they're doing
Yeah.
around and what they're not doing. Because sometimes what they're not doing is it's just as important as what they're doing.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you have, communication with the, galactic beings?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do you know any of them by name?
The only one that has allowed me to say the name is Asha. That I'm really pronouncing it terrible, but that's the only way I can pronounce it, Asha. And I'm just like, okay, that's the only name that always resonates with me and always stays in my mind. The other names, I know it when I am speaking to them, and then they kind of help
Mm.
me to forget the name for some reason, which is okay. I don't need to know 100% of everything. So,
Yeah, no,
um,
that's
you know,
cool. That's good.
yeah, yeah.
Don't be
So,
surprised. Don't be surprised if some of my friends now come over to you and start connecting with you.
I'll welcome it. That's fine. We all need guidance, right?
Yes.
No matter how much wisdom we have, we all need guidance. We're humans, so we automatically sometimes take the long way around
Mhm.
when there's a shortcut. So it's okay. I could take the shortcut. So what do you see? Do you see yourself writing another book?
I have started to write a couple of other books. One is a book on alien contact.
Mm-hmm.
One is a book on enlightenment, ascension, wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know, just everyday living, trying to survive, trying to pay my bills. All
Mm-hmm.
of those things take up so much time um, that I have not written a word in months in those books.
Uh,
I'm focusing on what I'll tell you what I'm doing.
yes.
I've got I've put together a course that people can work through to gain wisdom,
Nice.
gain knowledge, have spiritual experiences, learn how to think, uh, be exposed to moral intellectualization. And this is a free course that I call the Cosmic Wisdom course. And um, I host uh, Zoom sessions, Zoom meetings that people can come to where they can uh, hear me lecture and also participate in meditations and astral projections and healings and things like that. Um, and these meetings are very successful, very popular. People are
Mhm.
enjoying them. But in order to reach more people, um, rather than writing it down in a book or just doing it in little small Zoom meetings, I'm starting to make the different stages of the Cosmic Wisdom course available in video form.
Nice.
And so I have a YouTube channel. I have a Galactic Wisdom YouTube channel at Galactic Wisdom Now.
Mm.
And there is now on that YouTube channel video 1, video 2, video 3, and I'm working on video 4. And people can just watch through this video series. So I'm really, most of my time when I'm not just surviving is video editing, because that's a very accessible way for people. I can
Right.
reach hundreds, if not thousands of people
Mhm.
quite quickly, just watching, just having them watch those videos. That's really where my focus is right now.
Yeah, good, good. Yes, sometimes writing is great because, I'm also an author, but it you have to be in that moment of inspiration, I find.
Yeah.
And if you just sit there to write, you're like, "Yeah, look at that fly." Yeah, it has to be the right moment for that inspiration to come in, then all of a sudden your fingers just work and you've written it. So what else do you see coming up?
This this coming year,
Mhm,
2024, is going to be an important year. It's a year when people like you and I, um, what would be what would be wonderful for our future is if we could really expand, accelerate everything we're doing. And so for me, 2024, I would like to tour around the country hosting alien contact events. A couple of last year, yeah, last year still, um, I toured around the country to 25 different states
mhm,
and held events in 25 different states. I would love to be able to reach 50 states this coming year. Um, I I have a presentation that I give at
mhm,
paranormal conventions, UFO alien related conventions. Um, if anybody listening is involved in hosting or organizing a convention and would like me to appear, please send me a message, because I would like to fill my calendar with appearances. And I'm going to work more on my video series, my
mhm,
Cosmic Wisdom course, uh, and that if I look sort of more deeply at humans and community,
mhm,
what I would like to do is help to make people happy. W- human psychology, there's quite a lot of interesting science on human psychology. If you were to research, for example, Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Mm-hmm.
there is a whole set of starts off with survival needs at the bottom. What do we need? Well, obviously we need food, we need water, etc., etc. But you work higher up the needs, and it becomes not so much what you need to survive, but then what do you need to be comfortable and content?
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the top, what do you need to be happy, to feel, to be, to transcend,
Mm-hmm.
to reach the fullest potential that you can acquire as a sentient conscious being. And I see that our society does not give people even what they need to survive,
Mm-hmm.
let alone be happy or ascended.
Right.
I see the deficits in what society gives us, but I also understand what human beings need. And it's not hard. I mean, we need to feel loved. We need to be loved. We
Mm-hmm.
need to love. We need to be part of communities. We need to be meaningful parts of communities.
Mm-hmm.
We need to work towards something bigger. We need to have better relationships with harmonious relationships with people, animals, nature, and the universe. So what I'm really trying to do with everything I do
Mm-hmm.
is to give people opportunities uh, to acquire those needs, to gain those needs, to become healthier, happier, more ascended. Um, and when we do that, we form a bright, loving community of people
Mm-hmm.
that are so bright and so happy that they then spread that light and that happiness. They spread the wisdom, the ascension grows, and uh, these loving, light, small communities that are around the world get larger and grow and get larger and grow and then combine with each other, and that's how we're going to move forwards and solve the world's problems and ascend. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Very good. I'm there with you.
Thank you.
I am there with you. It's it's like the people talk about the big ocean. And I said, just look at the one single little thing of sand right there. That one makes the difference, and the other one makes the difference, and the other one makes the difference, and all combined makes the beautiful beach and the ocean and all that other stuff. So it's one grain of sand at a time, and hopefully we could get all of us could get through this in a safe, ascended way, to much happier. Um, I think that that's part of the wisdom that people forget is that we're here. We're in 3D, which is one of the densest sections of the world in general. The universe, we're really down at the bottom. Where, for reference, I call this hell.
Mhm.
And all I keep saying is, people, the only way out of here is up. So let's get this going. Um,
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
sure, go ahead.
This is Glenda's Dragons Den. Uh,
Yeah.
dragons, is that a thing that you know about?
Hmm. Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, the dragons to me are spiritual beings that exist but have been hidden from humanity for a long time because of how cruel we are, how we hunted them, how we killed them. They're just like us, basically, just in different form, and they're very loving. If you go against them, they're not going to be so loving. They self defense. They believe in self defense. Let's just say that, but they basically decided to hide a long time ago. They were just here helping humans, and helping them understand unconditional love. But, you know, humans being humans, anything that they cannot explain or don't understand, they fear. And then they bring them down. They try to kill them, even between humans, right? That's where there's all this commotion, is because even human to human, if they don't understand what the other one is doing, all of a sudden they fear it and they become an enemy. They become something not good. And it's like we are all here for one reason. We came from love and we go to love. What we do here is what's important so we could evolve, so we could ascend. And people just sometimes don't quite get that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so
it's
I
interesting.
yeah,
Sorry. It's
that's a
interesting because the
mhm,
idea of dragons as being real things, 10 years ago, I would have said, "Oh, no, dragons are just in fantasy."
right.
But we've actually, me and some of my alien contact experiences, we have occasionally, uh, had experiences with them.
Nice.
Um, in particular in Colorado, in the San Luis Valley,
Mhm,
um, around Mount Blanca, Zapata Falls. We and there's a place there called the UFO Watchtower as well. We went there, which is in that valley. I hosted, um, several alien contact events there,
mhm,
and when we do that, we tune into our spirits, we reach out our spirits, and we were aware that there were reports of beings living in those mountains. And
mhm,
so we approached spiritually those mountains. We approached in a respectful, loving, kind way and just said, "We're trying to make things better. Would you be open to communicating with us?" And several different people all saw dragons in there protecting the non-human entities, the other non-human entities that
mhm,
are in there.
mhm.
And, when it's just one person says, "Okay, I saw a dragon," it's like, "Really? Okay."
Right.
But if you have 5 or 6 people all go to the same place and all see dragons, not just in one, contact event, but different people in another contact event going to the same place and seeing dragons,
Mhm,
there's something there.
mhm,
And we have since had occasional encounters with these large, uh,
mhm.
dragon-like beings,
Yes.
and I don't know a lot about them, but they do, they do seem to be, between us and some other alien beings, in a protective capacity,
Mhm.
and not just vicious, mindless creatures.
No, right.
They will follow the rules, and they will step aside if,
Mhm.
if permission is given for contact.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I find that very interesting.
Yes, no, that's one of my things is I've been working with dragons for a long time. I see them, I speak to them, I even teach Reiki with dragons. So you call upon a certain dragon to help you
Wow,
give a stronger healing energy. So
that's interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I work with a few different healing beings, but I've never considered working with a dragon for
Mm,
healing.
it's a lot of fun. So and the best part is that you can not communicate with them, and just like if you and I were talking, but they will respect the whole thing about free will. They respect the 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 unwritten rules. And if you allow them, they could become very close to you, very protective, and they're very loving. Truthfully, they're very loving. It's they're not as TV show them as terrible, fire killing. That that it has only happened when they were trying to defend themselves,
Mm.
because they knew that they were protectors of other beings and they were supposed to be protectors of us, but we never really allowed them. So
Fascinating.
yeah, see, there's always something you learn.
Yeah. Yeah, my mind is so focused on, like, intellectualizing this now. It's like, "Okay, let's stop this podcast. I need to go away and think," you know? Uh, yeah,
But yeah,
it's good to receive new input.
yeah, always is, always is. And the good thing about it is that you hit one of the places that they are hiding in.
You knew about that?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, when you get to be really working with them and their friends, they do tell you where they're at. So if, say, you're in Japan, they'll tell you exactly where in Japan they're hiding. If you're in England, they'll tell you where in England they're hiding. So in case you need them, you know which way or which direction to, hey, come here, I need you, kind of thing. Or even just to go visit, because just like, it's like, oh, this is my house. Would you like to see the bedrooms? That kind of thing. Uh, but so it's very interesting. And that's nice to hear that that means that people have been, or at least those people have been evolving, because you have to be spiritually on a certain level. And morality has to be number one priority. No
Yeah.
killing, none of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful to hear. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. I see hundreds of thousands of people around the world trying to connect with aliens in different ways, and, it's there's really only one way that, in my experience, works in such that you can have deep and meaningful relationships with the aliens,
Hmm.
or the other beings, whatever they are. I think they're terrestrial, transdimensional beings.
Right.
Also, we're talking about, um, and that is to base everything on peace and love, and it's that simple.
Hmm.
Um, another place that I was successful in having communication with the beings is Skinwalker Ranch. I
Hmm.
d and a lot of people, I'm sure, who are watching this will have seen the the show Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, and, I love watching that show, but their way of communicating with those beings is to, fire rockets at them, to launch flamethrowers at them, and it's like, that's not how I communicate with
No.
beings. So when I went, to
Hmm.
Skinwalker Ranch, uh, I mean, I wasn't able to even get in touch with them, so the people who run the place, so I wasn't actually in the ranch itself,
Right.
but, you can go up in the hills around the ranch and overlook the ranch, and that's what I did in a public place, and, I astrally projected with a group of sort of wise ascended people,
Hmm.
to the area above Skinwalker Ranch, where there is this thing called they call it the anomaly, where there is something going on, some kind of
Hmm.
cloaked alien craft or something. And we we went there and we said to them, hey, listen, we understand that human beings as a species are not very evolved in some instances, but we as a group come here just with love for you, with peace in our hearts. We come here with the utmost levels of respect, with the highest levels of respect, and we would like to have, if you're open to it, a friendship with you, a constructive dialogue with you, if you're okay with that. And they let us in. We
Hmm.
went into the anomaly and we had communications with them. And they weren't a very communicative species. They weren't like full of love and joy. They were fairly low on the levels of emotion, but there was
Hmm.
maliciousness, no negativity. They basically just had one message for us, and that is, we don't like what the people below are doing. And
Well, you know.
that was really the message. But they were happy, and we
Right.
said, can we be your friends? I don't think they weren't really latching onto that, like that they really understood what friendship is in the way we consider friendship.
Right.
But they were very comfortable, I would say, and open to
Mhm.
having constructive dialogue,
Mhm.
constructive open communications, and that's what we did. So yeah, if there are any audience members out there watching this show thinking, I I I would love the idea of communicating with dragons, or with the Skinwalker Ranch
Right.
beings, or with any alien beings, or with Sasquatch, or you know, and any beings that are out there. How can I do it? Um, you've got to do it from a starting point of sincere peace and love.
Mhm. It's exactly how I go about when I do my paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I go into houses, and before I even walk in the building, house, whatever, I ask for permission. Can I come in? I'm here for peace. And I just want to hear your story. And I find I get more that way than I do if I went in there like some people and demand. I'm thinking to myself, somebody came into my house, demanded anything, I'll be throwing them out. Oh Lord.
You
So
seem very wise.
I try to be. I've learned from a very young age. I wasn't even supposed to walk. Let's just say that. And right before the age of 2, um, I got told by archangels, "Come on, you could walk," and I'm like, "No, I can." And they said, "Yes, you can." They pulled my hand, and I was haven't stopped since then. I've slowed down now that I'm a little older, but but I have not stopped since then. So I'm very grateful to them. And my experiences with galactic beings have always been good. I'm very grateful for that. Mostly healing sessions, and mostly, and the other times have been to be there for somebody, another human being. And it's funny because I have held hands of people that I don't know who they are, and then I meet them like a year later, or 2 years later, and I'm like, that's them. Do they even know? Do they recognize me? Do they, And then later on, some of them remember, but some of them don't.
Mm,
It's a very good feeling when you
mm,
get to see them in this realm. So,
mm.
um, we got about 5 minutes left. Is there anything you haven't said that you want to shut out?
Well, I think we've been fairly thorough. I think one thing I would probably like to let people understand is, um, we can't. I don't think we should wait for others to ascend before we start doing it. We can't wait for our governments, wherever they are in the world, to solve our problems for us. We can't wait for our laws to change. We can't wait for other people to be enlightened first, and then we'll follow along. We're in a place where there are um, people doing things that are often very annoying, often very dark, and if we stay at their level, then what we're going to do is we're going to respond to those things with darkness back. We're going to get revenge. We're going to post negative things on our social media. This person is dark and shouldn't be doing this, and we need to be better than that as individuals. Each individual person listening to this broadcast or watching this broadcast can be a powerful light in this world,
Mhm.
and we can make the universe a better place. I'm trying to do it. You're doing it, Glenda, and I know hundreds of other people in our community who are doing it. So I encourage people to decide today, don't ever say anything negative about anybody again.
Great.
Don't ever knowingly harm anybody ever again. Go out there and learn about paranormal stuff, but also learn about the reality that is available to us about our planet. Go and watch documentaries like David Attenborough's A Life on This Planet. Go and watch documentaries like What the Health, which is not just about physical health, but also spiritual health, if you look a little bit deeper. Go out there and learn. Join my Galactic Wisdom Facebook group. Send me a message, add me as a friend. I'm a friendly person. Ask me what should I do next. But we as individuals, we can ascend first, and then bring others up with us. That's my message to people today.
That's beautiful. Perfect way to end this first podcast of the year. And what a great way to start the year. Thank you. And please wait 1 second. Thank you to everyone who's here week after week. Share this podcast and let it go viral. Let's get this message out to everyone. And as always, many blessings. Thank you, Rupert. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Glenda. It has been a real pleasure.
Thank you. And we love you all. Don't forget that.